If anyone asked me how I feel about my mother currently, I would honestly say I have no feelings toward her. My mother abandoned me occasionally, consistently. As a child, she dropped me off with whoever would take me and went about her business, and just did, I don't know what she was doing, but she wasn't in my life like that. When I became an adult and I still needed her parenting or assistance, her nurturing or whatever, it was a rejection. She basically told me, look, I'm not going to do it. Basically, I haven't been around and I'm not about to start being around and being there for you. So telling me I had to figure it out on my own as a minor. As a child, I couldn't do a whole lot as a minor. I always needed a parent's signature or consent, and I didn't have her to do that. You can imagine how difficult my life has been. So I have gotten to a point in my life where I have let that go and I've accepted her for who she is and how she has been. And I'm just like, okay, well, let me handle my life. Let me do what I got to do. And I'm not going to sit here and focus on building or having a relationship with someone, even if that is my mother, especially if they're not willing to contribute to my success. But when I think back on all of the things that my mother did or didn't do and how she contributed to the struggles that I have to go through today, because I'm fixing her mistakes as well as whatever mistakes that I made trying to figure it out along the way, I get angry. I'm pissed off. I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate her, as she tries to push this narrative that I hate her. I don't hate her. I've accepted it for what it is, and I have separated myself from her. But I do get angry when I think about how she won't take accountability. She continuously tries to justify what she did with trauma that happened to her, or she tries to say, well, oh, you're grown now, so you're in charge of your own life. And I am. And because I'm in charge of my own life, that's why I have cut you off. I don't want people like my mother in or around my life, Also, for my mother to have not really cared about being there for me, she always makes it a point to try to get close to people around me, especially people who are not good for me, people who I'm having issues with, who don't like me or are posing a problem with me, and they don't really have a logical reason as to why. Although she is not ever around, when she does get around people, she tries to alter their perception of me and tell them things like, oh, my daughter has this mental illness and that mental illness. But it's like, you've never been around me to be able to try to diagnose me with something that I don't have. And the fact that you're even doing that says a whole lot about your relationship with me, to me, because you speak more about me to other people than you actually talk to me. When I tried to tell her in the past about any of the issues and the problems that I was going through, instead of like even just being a listening ear, she'd be like, no, I don't want to hear it. And she would write me off and be like, no, it's just too much drama. But then you will sit in the face of somebody who quite literally is trying to harm me or mess up my life or mess up my livelihood, and you will have a whole 2-hour long conversation about me. My mother claims to be bipolar, but I recognize heavy narcissism within her too. Now recently my brother has been going through some stuff, and there are rumors being spread about what it is exactly he's going through, and I don't know what he's going through exactly because he hasn't necessarily told me all the details, but I know he's going through something. And currently he believes that there are many people out to get him. Now, my brother is my mother's favorite child, and she's been there for him the most. She told me I couldn't come ask her for help or ask her for a place to lay my head, but when he came to her, she always had a place for him to be, right? Also, my mother has always tried to make it a point to try to keep me and my siblings separate. She never wanted me particularly to have a relationship with any of my siblings, especially my sisters, my younger sister. Now, I believe that a lot of whatever it is my mother's dealing with internally, as far as I'm concerned, it has a lot to do with jealousy and an insecurity within herself that she's never really gotten over, because she's expressed with me as a child that she felt like an ugly duckling. She felt like she was very ugly as a kid. And that caused her to have a certain resentment toward people that she thought was beautiful, including her sister, who she felt like was a more beautiful child than she was. I recall my mother saying that when I was born, I was her most beautiful baby. Now, my brother, on the other hand, looked like a naked mole rat. So I kind of imagine that my mother resented me for being beautiful, for her even considering me a beautiful baby. So she was like, oh, how dare you be beautiful when I'm not? I never thought, me and my brother used to always tell my mother, she's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Men always want you. And, you know, all that validation wasn't enough for